Hello, everyone. No, Teddy, you can't be in it. You can't be in it. Welcome to another episode of the Birdie Golf Club podcast. I'm having to record this on my phone because the internet decided to crash out. So hopefully this comes across okay and the audio is okay. But it's just an introduction, welcoming you to this week's episode. On this week, we have an interview with Tehda Golfs, who is just a great guy. Danny is a fantastic guy. We have an excellent conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. We cover a broad range of things. If you can hear something at the moment, it's my son trying to distract me in the studio because I let him in, which is my mistake. We talk about golf. We talk all things to do with gaming, which Danny was involved with for a long time. And most of all, we just talk about how much he enjoys making content and how he enjoys making content with his girlfriend and how that's a fantastic activity that they can do together. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you learn as much as what I did talking to Danny. If you're interested in making golf content or whatever it may be, then of course enjoy the conversation. Go and follow Danny on Tehda Golfs on all platforms. As my son leaves the studio, see you, mate. He's off. He's had enough. So anyway, thank you to Danny. Thank you to everyone that listens. Sorry these introductions have been a little bit off at the moment just because I've had some illness and just some studio mishap type sort of things, but things are getting sorted, as you can see. Gradually behind me is getting a little bit more interesting. So thank you so much to everyone who listens to the podcast every single week. I really do appreciate you. I would love for you to share this podcast with somebody you think would enjoy it and leave me feedback. Contact me. You know, you can send an email to birdiegolfpod@gmail.com. I would love that. If you listen to this podcast and you want to ask a question or you have an idea for some type of feature that could run every week, it's not something, I envision, but if the listeners would love that, then of course that'd be awesome. I can definitely give something like that a go. But most will just reach out, tell me your story, and I'd love to connect that way with you all. So thank you again. I think that's it. Let's get to the episode with Danny. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you all again next week.
Gaming was kind of quite a big part of your life. Do you do much of it now?
Honestly, I can't remember the last time I actually played games.
Really?
It was so every single day of my life, it was gaming. Yeah. Like, get back from school, it was either play football or play games. And then when it came to the point where I started working directly in gaming and esports, I stopped playing as many games. And then ever since kind of stepping away from esports as well, in particular, I've played games maybe once in the past like 4 or 5 months, and that's really weird. When I moved into our current place, I took my old Wii, my Xbox 360, my PlayStation 1, my PlayStation 2. I've got Tiger Woods PGA Tour on there, like now the lot. I played it once and not had a chance to play it again. It's been manic, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you'll get back to it, or do you think because of how deep you were in esports, which we can get to at some point? I'm sort of starting it on that, and I know that's just a small part of your journey, but do you think it maybe stripped away some of the joy from it for you?
Yeah, I think the gaming landscape in particular has changed a lot over the past 10 years, and in particular since COVID. Gaming 10 years ago, where it was just a case of hopping on with your friends and messing about for hours on end, those days are very much gone in that respect. It's very different now. It's very competitive, and I mean, I was very much involved in that competitive aspect of gaming for so many years, that when it came to a point where I wanted to kind of like step away and come away from that competitive side, that's kind of what gaming had become. Like, that was the norm. A lot of people describe gaming now as almost like a second job. Like, if you want to play FIFA, for example, or sorry, FC,
Oh yeah,
if you
still
miss it
FIFA.
for a month, yeah, yeah, if you miss it for a month, like you're
Yeah.
so far behind, and you have to treat it almost like a second job. And I don't like that side anymore. I think if I had the right people that would also come back and we'd play games together, I would go and play games again. But it's very different to how I used to play games over the past, I'd say 6 or 7 years. How I'd look to play games now is very different to what I was doing 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was big into FIFA. Like when my daughter was born, she's nearly 9 now. So what's that? Going back to like FIFA 17 was probably when I
Yeah,
picked it back up again. Marco Reus on the cover, and I used to play that like weekend league. I think that was when it first sort of kicked off.
that was when
really.
yeah. So that was around the
40
time where I
games.
stopped FIFA. Yeah, that was around the time where I stopped. I think I stopped in FIFA 15.
Yeah.
I stepped away from it, and I got back into it when I met Alia because she played a lot of FC, and I didn't get back into it until like 21. So I missed that kind of peak of of FIFA that you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it was amazing because I actually had all the time in the evenings because I would look after my daughter when she would just sleep. Well, that's what babies just do. They just sleep a lot and then just feed, do their business, go back to sleep. But that was kind of ideal, and that was when it was 40 games over 2 days you had to try and do, and it hooked me. Like I was hooked from FIFA 17 all the way through to probably. When did FC start? Whenever that started, that's when I stopped.
24, 25, yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty much hooked, and I was a regular like weekend league player, and it got smaller and smaller, and I was like, God, kids nowadays don't know what we went through, and like,
No.
FIFA 17 of that stressful 40 games over that time. But I think you're right. I think it became like, it got to the point where you couldn't miss a day. I think when it started to shift to mobile as well, and you could take the companion app with you, and we are properly divulging here into it. But you know, if people like it, they like it. If not, they can leave. It's fine. But but like, it did become a whole other thing, and I think I completely agree with you on that. And I know that that's only a small part of your story, Danny. Maybe for the listeners, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are listening that follow you that might be aware of little bits, but there may be people who are not aware of your story at all. If you could take us right back to maybe like the first time you either picked up a golf club or the sports you were into as a kid, what sort of all started it for you?
Of course. Well, when I started golf, when I started playing sports, everything probably, I'm looking back to my first memories of kind of playing football. And that was when I was in primary school. I think I was around year 5. So for any Americans, that's what, 8, 9 years old, I'd imagine, is around that. So I was, I suppose, quite late into sports. My family aren't necessarily sporty people. My dad never was into football. He doesn't support a football team or anything like that. I kind of just found myself at school playing sports. And that's when I kind of got into football. And I was big time football. I loved football. I lived and breathed it. And it got to the point where in football, I was playing for 3 teams at once. So I'd play for a Saturday league team, a Sunday league team, and an academy. And what that meant was 6 days a week. I was training 3 of those days, and I had 2 matches on the weekend, and occasionally a match on Friday as well. So my life was football, and all the time I wasn't playing football, I'd get home, I'd play games. But there was, I suppose, the first time that I got involved in golf would have been through gaming. So I played Wii Sports. I love Wii Sports. I played a lot of Tiger Woods. So I remember, and I've still got the game, is Tiger Woods 2007. So I would have been 9. Yeah, I'm a 98 kid, so I would have been 9 at the time. And I just remember I love that game. Like the visuals of it, when I've played it since, it's so much. It's so good. It's so much nostalgia. It's like the ball, when the ball follows, the crowd shouts. Everything about it is quality, and I fell in love with it. I had no interest whatsoever in golf at the time, but there was something about it that I just really really enjoyed. And every other Sunday, I'd go out with my parents. We often would go to like car boot sales. So I suppose like yard sales, garage sales, but in the UK we have kind of like the giant field full of cars. And I used to go there. I used to get a weekly pocket money from my nan of £2, and I used to go there and I used to buy games, or I'd haggle everyone to try and get as many PlayStation games as I could in bundles.
£2 would go a long way. That'd go a long way.
It did go a long way,
Yeah.
especially as a 9-10-year-old me was haggling them for 10p. I managed to get a lot of bundles and a lot of games the same within the bundles, and I'd sell them. So, it worked out. And after playing a little bit of kind of PGA, I came across some golf clubs, and I kind of said to my mum, I was like, it's a little bit out of the budget. Can we try and can I get a golf club? Basically. And we walked away with a set of golf clubs that day, and I had no idea about golf. I knew nothing. I only knew what I saw on PGA, so I didn't know of any golf clubs near me. There was none directly near me that I could walk to or anything like that, or cycle to. So I'd quite often go in the garden. My mum got me loads of like little foam plastic ones, like the ones that you could actually hit. And it eventually got to the point where Bryson's challenge of hitting it over his house, I was doing that at the age of 10. I was hitting it over my house because it was the only place I could do full swings. We didn't have a net. I was just hitting it over my house. These little plastic balls, seeing how far we could hit it. And occasionally we'd go down to my local school field, and me and a couple of my friends would go down, and looking back, it was so bad. But we used to, get go one side of the football field, tee up a driver in the middle of the field, and just hit as far as we could, see how far across this football field we could hit. And even with dog walkers around, it was like, I can't believe it. Now when I'm
simpler times.
now when I look back, I'm like, wow, what was I doing? But that was what I knew, right? So that's kind of where I learned and kind of first picked up a golf club. And I was at it, and I think my parents saw me do it too much in the garden, and there was too many windows nearly being broken, and a couple of shed windows that were broken, where it got to the point where I was like, okay, maybe he's outgrown the garden a little bit, let's take him to his local course. And that's kind of where I first started playing golf. And I went down to the local 9-hole golf course, which is Swanmore Golf Club at the time. And that's kind of where I played, and I didn't play a single other golf club for probably like 3-4 years. I'd go to that golf club occasionally, once or twice a year. And I had a couple of friends who would kind of talk about being into golf, so we used to go along a little bit more together, and kind of that's where it all spurred. And it wasn't until again, football was a priority, like in like everything. So there wasn't really like I knew nothing about golf. I knew nothing about kind of the competition side of it, or the etiquette. I knew nothing. And everything was just kind of go along and see what happens. So that's how I got into golf. And it wasn't until recent years, I'd say the past 2 or 3 years, where I started playing golf again. And that's where I started to take it a lot more serious in terms of, all right, let's learn actually what's right and wrong, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, all the little intricacies that go along with it. Can you remember what the clubs were that you picked up?
I do remember a couple. I don't remember the irons, but I did have a Nike driver, like a Nike 5 wood that I got.
Now we're talking.
And what I can do is I can send you a picture because I've got a picture of me with it, and that's I remember that, and I've given that to my nephew now. So my nephew's started golf. He's got my old like kind of first set clubs, and he's getting into golf now. So I pass them on, but he's got that Nike driver that I started using, and I loved it. It was the best thing in the world.
They still hold up.
Absolutely loved it.
They still hold up.
Oh, it's
they
brilliant.
Made unbelievable
it's absolutely
clubs.
Brilliant. Yeah. So that's kind of I got that driver at that wood, and I got that from the car boot sale. And then I had an uncle who I'd only met a handful of times in my life, and he's right up south, so he's up past Newcastle. And kind of news caught to him that I played golf. So one time he came down and he gifted me his old set of golf clubs.
Nice.
And one of those golf clubs in that was a TaylorMade TPI 26 putter. And that was the one I made a video of me falling to my knees because it broke recently when I put it back in my bag after many years. So yeah, they're kind of like my early golf clubs.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 17, it was like when I turned 17, I got a car and I was like, okay, I can drive to golf clubs. I stopped playing football at that point. I stopped when I was 16. So I was like, okay, I'll pick something else up. Went more serious into gaming, but outside of gaming, I needed something else as well, another outlet, and golf became that. And that's when I picked up my kind of Jeff Sluman clubs off Facebook Marketplace, and held them until, again, maybe like 3 years ago, until I had them, and they were 1970s blades, and they were fantastic. They were like butter. So they're kind of like my early clubs and kind of how I got into golf. I suppose. I mean, I know you're meant to be in interviewing me, Dave. I kind of want to hear about you. Like, how did you get into golf?
It's nice of you to ask. Not many people ask. So yeah, I do you know what? There's some real similarities in our sort of introductions to golf. I was football mad. Still am football mad. I'm a little bit. I don't know how I feel about the game in the last sort of like few years. Purely from a spectator standpoint, because my ankles are done. Like, I'm not playing football anymore. I can't risk it, so it's done. But just as far as the love for the game, it's sort of dwindled, but it's still very much there. But with golf, I basically started. I can't even remember the first time I actually played golf. It would have been down the range at some point where I used to live up in Crawley. And yeah, it would have been a very similar experience. I have a feeling I had some John Letters blades that my granddad had given me, which were like, ridiculous, ridiculously thin. I have a feeling I literally went 4-iron, 7-iron, and then like nothing above that, so it was just a very painful introduction to golf, with like this shooting pain going up to my elbow. But I loved it, and there was a little 9-hole course there that I would go to through like my summer holidays, because I literally I could walk up to it. It's a really fortunate position to be at, but it was one of these tight little par 3 in the pines up at Tilgate Forest, and you couldn't go right and you couldn't go left. You just had to learn to try and hit the ball straight, and it was amazing. The holes went from like being 60 yards long all the way to being like 220 yards long. And it was a real shame, because when just before COVID they turned it into a foot golf course, and you can no longer play golf on that little 9-hole course anymore. And I think that's a huge miss, to be honest, for the community around that area, because it was a real special little place to go, and I loved it. And then again, similar, I sort of stopped playing the game when I turned about sort of probably 15, 16. And then in the past sort of, I would say the past 3 years, I've sort of taken it seriously again, because I stopped playing football, and just realised that actually, cool, why didn't I just play this? Why didn't I play golf like the entire time? Because now I'm playing catch up with the guys that did continue to play it. But I just think it's it's such a such a special sport because it enables people to connect. I think like this because golfers sort of know golfers, don't they? You know, and you have that sort of instant connection. But equally with the people that you spent time with playing football or whatever it may be, it's a totally different arena to compete in because you spend the time actually talking and encouraging, which is a very strange thing to do after playing football for such a long time, you know. And that's pretty much my sort of story in the game. You know, that's pretty much it. There's odd little bits and bobs and things, but I know with yourself that with football, obviously that was a big love. So what kind of put an end to that for you? You know, for me it was my ankles. What was it for yourself?
Very, very similar thing. So, kind of my football inside, I was playing so much, and if you haven't noticed, I'm quite a small lad. I'm not very big.
Neither am I. I'm with you.
Yeah, especially when I stand up next to the likes of my mate Connor, who's bloody 6'3" and towers over me. I've got absolutely no chance. So when I was kind of 14, 15, it was around like between 14 and 16 was when I was playing so much sport, because it was so much training per week, like high intensity training, 2 to 3 football matches, as well as like lunch times, break times, everything, PE. Like it was far too much sport. And I kept getting problems in my back, and I kept getting problems in my knees. I get so many like not harsh injuries where it's like, oh yeah, I felt something in my knee pop or anything like that. It was over time. It felt like everything was just wearing down. So we gave it a few months, and my mum took me to the doctor, and kind of we spoke to the doctor about it, and he essentially said that I was playing so much that I wasn't allowing any recovery time for my ligaments. And what that was causing was like where the growth of my ligaments, where I started to go from 4'11" to 5'8", during that time where I was playing so much sport, there was no time for them to actually like grow the way they were supposed to.
Right.
And that led to kind of a lot of strains and issues, where when it came to around about 16, it was kind of make or break at that like year. Like if you hadn't made it already, there wasn't much chance that you were. So it came to kind of the day where I was looking to get up a level within the academy, and I was playing that match. And I remember getting injured that match, and they turned around and I swapped teams at half time to go on to the kind of next level team. And I got injured in that second half, and they turned around and said, like, if you come off, like, that's going to be it. But I couldn't breathe. I could barely walk. And it was like, I have to come off. And even 10, 11 years on, one, that's a massive regret. But two, I know physically, I still have issues from all of that. So I picked up basically an injury, mainly in my back, and I'd been through absolutely years and years of physiotherapy. I'd tried all sorts. I've tried almost every single practice under the sun, and I've had multiple MRIs on my back, and no one could tell me what was wrong. I had a doctor basically turn around and was like, oh, this is all in your head. And I couldn't wrap my head around it because I had permanent chronic pain in my lower back. And there was days where I would literally wake up and not be able to stand up, and I would just stay in bed and I couldn't move. And it was like the worst days ever. I physically couldn't do anything. Mentally, I was so drained. And it wasn't until, again, probably about 4 years ago, where what had happened is because of all of those issues growing up, my vertebrae had essentially fused together. So I've got 3 vertebrae in my lower back and 2 vertebrae kind of between my shoulders in my upper back that are like fused together, but not to the bone. Like they're not fused by the bone. They're my muscles just can't relax. So
Right.
it's a weird one,
So they're under
and that's why
constant
no one could
tension.
work out what it was. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're under constant tension. So whenever I, would overextend, if I ran and I'd stretch my back too much, it would tear, and it would mean that like I couldn't walk. And at the time I was working quite a physical job as well, so I ended up stopping football to try and help with my back problems at the age of 16, knowing if I went into adult football, Sunday league, over 18 football is absolutely diabolical, as you might know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I stopped around there. I did go into it a season, knew it wasn't going to work out, kept picking up injuries. I said, no, this is like, I can't do it. Like, I love football, but I can't do it. So I went for a little bit less of a contact sport in golf.
Yeah.
The only injuries I have to worry about at the moment is myself causing it, or getting hit by other people not shouting for. That's all I have to worry
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
And ever since that, I've been okay. Like, I can play golf. I don't, long periods of golf. If I play golf multiple days in a row, it's I can have issues, but for the most part, it's not too bad anymore.
That's good.
And I've overcome that, luckily. But that's kind of where kind of football went for me. I played it too much at a young age, where just my body couldn't keep up, essentially. So picking up injuries, and kind of walked away from it around 16, and 17 is when I picked up golf.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, for American listeners, like you were saying, obviously there's that desperation to make it when guys are 15, 16. You can times that by 10 as to what happens at Sunday League, because that is very much like last ditch. Guys are trying to make an impression, and if and in worst case, if they're not trying to make an impression, they're trying to make an impression on the person that they're playing against. It's a brutal arena of football, Sunday League. Like, I remember like watching it from like my house, because it was right next to the Sunday League, and I just thought, I'm never ever doing that. Like, those guys are insane. I'll stick to under lights on a Astro or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll stick to that kind of football. But yeah, I don't blame you for pulling out of that one, especially with those injuries, because that must have been just an absolute nightmare, especially when you've got people denying that you've got something wrong with you, and you're like, look, I'm not faking it. This is pretty serious. I feel pretty terrible. I remember there was a lad I went to school with, and he ended up playing for Southampton, under 16s, I think it was, and he snapped his leg in 2 places. He brought the DVD into school, and we all watched it and thought it was kind of cool. It's such a typical thing you'd do, right? And I saw him like 3 years after I left school, and he was like hobbling around town. He was still trying to make it, but he was having injections in his back like every single week, because he was then, whatever injury he had from his leg, it was then compensated in his back. And there must be, I mean, there's just probably so many stories of guys sort of similar to yourself, where these injuries just happen because just chronic overuse at a young age. You'd be 6'5" now if it wasn't for all the football. That's what I heard.
Exactly. Instead, I'm 5'3", mate.
Oh dear! Don't worry, I'm a small king as well. It's absolutely fine. We can be in it together. So I know. So from then, you obviously said that you were doing a lot of the esports side of things as well. What sort of opportunities came up for you in that? I know it was probably more of a moving back from necessarily the gaming side of things as well at certain points, but was it initially specifically you competing?
It wasn't actually. So I all the time I was at school, I loved the thought of YouTube. Before, when KSI and Mini Minter and kind of these guys, especially within the FIFA scene, came out, I was like, the stuff they're doing is awesome. Like, I'd love to do that type of thing. So, privated and never to be seen, I do have a channel where I have old FIFA videos, like from FIFA 11, FIFA 12, where I was doing like squad builders and I loved it, and that's kind of where I picked up editing. And anyway, that's another story. But um, gaming was obviously something I always did in the background and loved, and I'd play Modern Warfare 2 and all sorts and go for trick shots, and this is way before a lot of people's time, but like those days were like some of the most fun I'd ever had. And I remember me and my friends would race home in order to get in a group together to just play all night. So when it came to kind of college, I went away to college. I had to stop football due to injury, so like my outlet became more gaming. Um, and I remember coming back from holiday one day with one of my friends, and we'd seen a trailer for a game called Rocket League, which is essentially just football but with cars. So it was like the perfect transition to go from football to I also like cars. So let's just it's perfect.
It seems to work.
And exactly. And I remember kind of making videos around that and just kind of having some fun with it. And I kind of just fell into it. I was always in it, but I kind of fell into the competitive side to it. And what I mean by that is I had a friend who I absolutely loved playing games with, and he become very, very good at games very quickly. So he was about top 200 in the world at Rocket League at the time. And because he got so good, obviously he wasn't going to play with me because I was terrible. And I would drag him back down to my level. So he went away on holiday. He went on to like a summer camp in America. And I said to myself, I was like, all right, this is the perfect time. He's not playing the game. I'm gonna just play the game loads over my summer holidays in between college. I'm gonna play the game loads, get really, really good. So when he comes back, I can play with him, and we can go from that.
Summer well spent.
And exactly. Studying for college? No, that wasn't me. Instead, I was playing Rocket League. So I'd gone from probably in golf terms, to make it a little bit more relatable, golf terms, I'd probably gone from before he left, maybe like a 16, 17 handicap. It was like pretty standard, like to top 100 in the world.
Wow.
Within the span of about 8 weeks. To the point where when my friend came back, I put some time in, yeah. I put some time in. But I found that I was like, if I really put my mind to that, and like, I wasn't spending as much time as others on it. In terms of like my hours played was a lot less than others. But if I could dedicate my time to it, I knew I could get better. So that's what I did. And I found myself playing in tournaments with random people across the world that I'd never spoke to, never heard of or anything. And me and my friends used to compete in tournaments, and we started off playing for headsets and chairs and just like little things like that were like, oh, this is pretty cool. And again, this is before esports really was a thing. It was a thing, but there wasn't money in it. There wasn't anything, like there wasn't a scene for it. There was a little bit of Call of Duty, like competitive Call of Duty at the time, but there wasn't a scene for a lot of the things. So when it came to playing in these tournaments, money started getting injected into the scene. Rocket League started getting bigger. By the time my friend came back, we started competing together in these tournaments. And that's kind of how I fell into it. It was just a case of like, oh, I want to get to a point where I can play with my friend, to the point where I was sitting 70th in the world for within the Rocket League scene. And then that was like, okay, well, there's something in this now. The first prize pool for RLCS, which is the Rocket League World Championship, the first prize pool was $50,000. And then it became more and more and more. And as kind of seasons and years went on, it got to the point where the prize pool was 1 million, 2 million. And just going back a couple of years ago, we had kind of like the Saudi World Cup, and there was 20 plus million in that you could win. So it was a time where I was like, I don't know what I want to do as a career, but I just want to do what I love. I tried it with football. I came up short. I tried with gaming. I did well. In the grand scheme of things, I came up short, but I did well. And kind of that's like golf is now my next thing. Like my next thing where I'm like, okay, I want to go on to that now, and that's what I'm enjoying. So, whilst esports is kind of like taking a back seat, I still do get involved with it because I still love it. But I stumbled my way into it and kind of stumbled my way into golf next.
Yeah. And do you find you can take that dedication that you put in when it came to Rocket League, when you wanted to just get better than your mate, which is a real simple goal that can definitely transition to golf, right? Everyone's got that mate that we just want to be better than. Do you find that dedication that you put in, a lot of people will look at that and go like, well, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like people that haven't been involved in that sort of stuff before and haven't really understood the effort that it takes. Like, oh, you spent that long trying to get that good at it, whatever it might be. Do you find that mindset that you were able to put yourself in has really helped when it comes to golf, as you sort of picked it back up again and to lower your handicap and everything like that and just try and get better at the game? Do you find that really helped, sort of having that experience from before?
I think it did have that. I think it did help having that experience before, where I was trying to just do the best I could to get better. And whilst when I was getting into golf again, it was the same thing. It wasn't my goal. Like my goal, and it still stands, my goal isn't to become an incredible golfer. As much as I'd love to be able to hit every green and whatnot, like I know it will come with time. And if I really wanted to get better, I could spend more time focusing on that. But I suppose my passion was always content. Like when I look back in school, like the first things I did within gaming was content. Like like me and my friends would record videos and put them up online, and sometimes we literally just make videos for each other. Like it was always in the background. I loved content. And then when it came to kind of football, I'd get like occasionally my mum would come along with a camcorder because I'd love to just, like have the footage and edit it and piece out together like a little football montage. Like I love the idea of that more than the fact that I scored a banging goal. When it came to Rocket League, everything was content related as well. Like I was streaming every tournament, or like as many tournaments as I could play. I was making YouTube tutorials, and I had like a lot of like the issue I had within Rocket League was my like internet was a big factor, where I couldn't always stream and compete at the same time because you needed the best setup, you needed the best internet, you needed like as many frames per second as you could get. Like there's a similar thing that you get within golf is people believe you need the very, very, very best equipment to like perform. And within gaming, that is the case as well, right? At any high level, that kind of 1% is huge. So when it came to kind of that gaming side, like content was always the forefront of it, but the professionalism and kind of going away and competing in Spain and going away to different countries to compete, that then overtook it when I didn't enjoy it maybe as much as I did the content side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think the content has always been there, and like going back to the question of did it kind of help? It has helped. I think this time it's helped in a different way. It's kind of made me realize like what it is that my passion really, like what my passion really is, and I love entertaining people, even if like I know I'm not the best at it, but it's like that urge to want to improve on every video that I make. Where one video I won't have shot traces, the next I will, the next I'll have a mini map, the next I'll have drones, the next I'll have a better camera, like whatever it is, the next I'll have overlays, the next, like whatever it is, I want to improve on that next video. And my Alia, my partner, she tells me off because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to it. So it's finding, I suppose, that balance with that is like I want to improve on everything I do. But I've got to draw the line somewhere as well.
I think your content comes through as authentic, which I think is what people are looking for, when they watch stuff now, because there's a lot of, and it's something that I've found difficult. I'd be interested for your take on it as well. There's so much golf content out there now, and you can draw inspiration from loads of different people, and then it's trying to be unique in that space is almost impossible, I would say. And I think maybe that's why it causes people to freeze and not start, because there's probably a lot of people like yourself and myself that look at it and go, I love that. I grew up with basically this content creation boom that's happened, and always wanted, like you said earlier, always wanted to do it myself. But I just feel like I would be copying this person or copying that person. How have you found that? Trying to be unique but not overthinking the uniqueness is a difficult balance, right?
It is a difficult balance. I think when it comes to content for me, and it's always like, all right, well, I want to do what I enjoy. Like, I can't go out my way to force things. Like, don't get me wrong, you can go away and like, I might have a viral idea, and if I really wanted to put my mind to it and commit to that, I know long term that wouldn't work out. Like, I only do what I want to like enjoy, and there's a lot of series or like concepts that I've gone, oh, this is going to be great. Like, this is something that I'm going to enjoy. It can work out from like I suppose like an audience standpoint. I'd imagine people might enjoy it as well, and I put it to practice and go, this is terrible. Like, I know I can't commit to this long term, and I've had some weird like content ideas. Like, you'd occasionally see like one episode come out, and I'd be like, this is a really good idea, but I don't enjoy it, and it's a brilliant idea for someone else. So I mean, it's reassuring you say my content's authentic, because I am literally just being me. In the end of the day, and whilst I there's a lot of I suppose videos and creators out there, and you have all these people and gurus and whatnot saying this is what works, this is like what you need to do, and whilst I suppose from a small creator standpoint and someone who just likes making the videos, like, sure, there's inspiration you can take, and there's things and whatnot, and the ideas in the end of the day, the ideas and concept of the videos are like what are most important. You've got to enjoy it. Like, I've seen so many people, I suppose, from the esports side of things, and I keep going back to this because this is where most of my life was. So part of my job was like managing talent. So I had talent and players and creators who had 6-7 million followers. Like, they were huge, and they hated what they were doing. Like, they just didn't enjoy it, and you could tell. And you would like see the viewership drop over a period of time, and it wouldn't be until they go, actually, I really don't enjoy playing this game anymore, or I really don't enjoy making this type of video anymore. It's like, well, what do you enjoy? And it's like, oh, I enjoy this or I enjoy that. Well, go and do it. And it's like, people won't watch that. And it's like, no, you're building an audience, I suppose, for you. You're not building an audience for necessarily golfers. You're not necessarily building an audience for anyone but you and or your group, right? So people will listen and watch the podcast because of you, Dave. Like, it's not it's not it's not necessarily, I suppose, the name of it is, it's because of you and what you bring to the table, your knowledge and you as a person, nice genuine person. That's what people come in and watch and listen to you for, right? So there's it's a fine balance, but again, I always have to just do it and go, right, do I enjoy this? Is this me? And I suppose, what do I want to get out of this? Like, if this takes off, can I see myself committing to throwing a dart at a map for
I saw that one.
weeks or months and months and end? And I would say yes, because that's something I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And that's something where I've got a camper van. I would love just to go around Europe and play different golf courses and go away for some time. And that's something that I'm planning to do. Right. So I suppose it's almost like you see a lot for a lot of people play a holes, like come and play a hole with me, like that type of content works. Great. If it works for you and you enjoy it, that's all that matters, right? For other people, they love reviewing golf clubs and golf fittings. I did a golf fitting, and I saw your podcast with like 9x9. I loved it. I thought it was so interesting, but I couldn't. I can't commit myself long term to that. And my most successful video ever is with 9x9. It's like on like 200,000 views, long form hour video. Like it's done wonders. And if I uploaded that every 2 weeks, I'd absolutely be fine. But I don't I can't see myself doing that long term. And there's certain aspects of it I'm like, yeah, that's quality. I loved it. But I couldn't be a club reviewer every single week because it's just not me. It's not what I enjoy. I enjoy going out, exploring, having fun, having a laugh with my mates, grabbing Connor and going, Connor, let's 2v1 Theo, let's 2v1 Alia, let's 2v1 a pro, like these different concepts that we enjoy. And if they don't take off, they don't take off. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
If they take off, then even better.
You had fun whilst doing it, no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I can speak to that. I'm still very much in the space, sort of pretty new to the whole content sort of creation side of things. All these ideas in my mind of what I'd like to do, and then like you said, that I did one which I'm definitely gonna throw in the rubbish bin. It was like the Chat GPT thing. In my head, it was fun. It was a great idea. In reality, there's a guy who does it way better. Pretty much launched it just before I did it, but in a slightly different way. Where he's like got Jake Knapp, he's doing the Jake Knapp GPT, which is just way better. Like it's a way better concept, and he's got it. He's done it. He's won. And it's like I looked at mine and thought, I have no real direction on this. In my head, it was fun. It's not actually fun to do. I'm alone in my garden swinging a golf club into dirt, and these suggestions from ChatGPT are rubbish. Like they are not improving my game.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, okay, forget that one. That's gone. So I could definitely see that. I did this one recently where last night, and it's one I've been wanting to do for ages, and I'm a little bit on. This booth that I'm in was basically because I started doing audiobook narration like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, something like that, and loved it. It was great, and I wanted it to take off. Typical AI sort of comes into the equation, and you see audiobook narration sort of fall off a cliff now. But it's a skill that I really enjoyed doing, and I enjoy the dramatics of it essentially as well. And I was like, well, I need to take that passion and put it into this. Now, I could be put off because you've got, James Wilson, Shortside, who does an amazing job and has like this incredible Scottish accent to go with it as well. And I sat with it for such a long time because I thought, well, he kind of does that. But then I kind of thought, well, there's probably room for me to do something that's similar just because I've got a background in it as well. Doesn't mean that I'm not copying his content, it's just... it would be similar-ish because that's kind of my passion as well. So it's trying not to be frozen because there's other people doing something similar, and like you said, if it's something you enjoy, that's what's going to come across. That's what people are going to tune in and watch, either on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever it may be, and that's sort of like the main thing really with it, isn't it? How are you finding you're saying, if I wanted to get good at golf or really good at golf, I would focus on it. How is your game? Now's the therapy session.
and I'll flip it actually, because it is the best it's ever been currently.
There we go.
Hands down the best it's ever been. And I think again, it's just that switch of like, okay, well, I'm not playing to try and beat a score. When I first started making long form golf videos, I started with a Break 85 series. Kind of dip my toes into the water, find out how long it's going to take me to edit an 18-hole video, find out how I get short form from it, the filming process, how that all was going to work out, how can I make that as efficient as possible, etc., etc. So that whole series was kind of like let's see if I can do this and commit to a series. Let's see if I can do that. If I can do that, I can try and push on, and I know I can build other things, and start moving on to, I suppose, other areas that I enjoy. Because when I first started YouTube Golf, it was very much like I knew I wanted to film my golfing journey, but I didn't know what it was I wanted to do. I didn't know whether it was like I wanted to play matches and have a laugh. I didn't know whether it was to go down the Bob the Sports route and do crazy challenges, because they're the guys that I love watching the most on YouTube. I didn't know whether it was kind of go more of like a traditional route and stay more on like a goals focus. At one point, I was like, all right, well, actually, I'm going to spend a month or two really trying to get good at golf. So I was like, the type of thing that Cheeky Golf Club are doing now with the trying to become like 30 days training for, it's brilliant. Trying
They
to
get so much
like
hate
30
for
days.
it as well.
Yeah.
It's so unnecessary.
30 days, 30 days of the kind of like trying to get the driver as far as possible, like the long drive. Like I had that as an idea. I filmed half of it and I goes, actually, like this isn't the right time for it. A year down the line, I might turn around and I was like, actually, this is something that I really want to do. Now's the time to commit, right? So once I kind of like tested the waters and gone that like Break 85 route, I was like, okay, I completed the series. I did like 6 or 7 videos. At the start of that, I was shooting like 103, 104 as like a 13, 14 handicap. It was so difficult.
Easy done.
It was so difficult to play on camera. So difficult. And kind of like this whole process of, all right, you've got an idea, let's see how it works. You gave it a go with the audiobooks, and you tried your AI series, like idea. Like you need to do that to experiment and find like what it is that you really enjoy, and you learn from that and go, okay, this type of concept does and doesn't work, or and it's not so much. It's not even like about, I suppose, viewership so much either. I think a lot of people kind of dial in and focus, and I'm guilty of it as well, but like you focus on the numbers, and if I do a really, really good video, it's like I'm really proud of this one, I'm really happy, and it gets 200 views on YouTube after 2 weeks of hard work. I'm like, damn, like that's a jab in the back, like that really hurts. And then I'll put something terrible up where it's like I'm trying not to upload it. I'm getting told that I need to, because I need to stop being a perfectionist, and it does so much better. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And a lot of it doesn't. Like, there's a lot of things that you can go, all right, this makes sense, this makes sense, this makes sense. You need a good hook, you need a good thumbnail, etc., etc. But in the end of the day, it's like you can't control a lot of things. Like, if your video doesn't do well, so what? Like, move on, learn from it. And I think that's kind of like where my stance from kind of football and gaming came from, was like, okay, I've lost that match. Why have I lost? Why have I done this? Where did I do well? And kind of just pick up and improve. So I completed the Break 85 series. I kind of found the elements that I was like, all right, I quite enjoy this and I quite enjoy that. So one of the things that I found myself really enjoying was everything videography and photography. And luckily for me, Connor, who's like my best friend, in a lot of my videos, a huge supporter, because he grew up doing it. And like, again, without Connor, without Alia, without Richard, like without these close friends, I literally wouldn't be uploading, because after the first 2-3 flops on videos, I would have been like, I'm not built for this. It's not for me. Like as a group, we've just gone, right, here's all our findings, here's what we enjoy. Let's just go out and do it together. And then that way we kind of have each other's backs. So, yeah, like having that support network is like, to me personally, so key. Like I wouldn't be doing this on my own. So it's like having those people around you. And obviously Alia was doing it first before all of us. She's like incredibly brave to have been doing it. She did kind of FC and was getting so much hate and abuse and everything all through that. Transitioned into golf, and she was like, "Wow, this is so good. No one is mean." Meanwhile, there's a flood of comments being horrible, but she's like, "No, this isn't that bad. This isn't that
That's
bad."
nothing.
And yeah, exactly. So when kind of I left my job, it was like, okay, let's focus on what I enjoy. I enjoy golf. Connor was the same. We were like, right, let's do this together. Like, let's hold each other accountable for making good videos. Like, Connor coming into this, like, didn't know anything about editing. I knew nothing about cameras and videography. Like, we've all just come together and kind of combined our knowledge and experience in different aspects and gone, let's do it together. It just makes it so much easier for each other.
And having that support network, like you said, has been vital. And also the golfing community, it just seems like is a far more supportive like space. I know when I started this podcast, it was originally me and a friend of mine were going to do it together, and the plan was that we would just get together every Monday night and have a couple of whiskeys and talk about the fact that we don't play golf very much, and how depressing that is. That was the original idea of it. As it was, he couldn't commit time wise to it, which was completely fair enough, and there was no hard feelings on that. And he's going to pop back for a couple of episodes when he can, which is great. But I kind of had this thing, and I was like, I don't want to let this go now. And I'd already been reaching out to certain people, and the response had been so positive for someone starting with nothing in the space. As far as they're concerned, no one listens to the podcast. But they didn't care. They wanted to show their support and just have a chat as well, which is kind of what this is. I didn't want to claim on this podcast to make you better at golf or to have the biggest names in the golfing world every single week in this blockbuster thing. Like, that's not what this is. This is a genuine conversation that you would overhear in the clubhouse after playing 18 holes or wherever down the pub. It's that kind of thing. So I know firsthand, and I can tell as well from the experiences that you've had, that the golfing community really does deserve like a sort of big sort of slap on the back of like, it's a supportive place for people.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
The and coming back to yours, your like the word for your podcast is authentic. Like just as you said for me, it's the same for you. It's the same thing. And yeah, the golf community is by far the best. And I'm going to have a lot of people from gaming who still follows my journey in golf, but
Course, yeah.
the kind of professionalism of it is obviously very night and day in comparison. But yeah, the people are obviously more mature. Like, they're supporting. I think they, like, especially those who have tried filming themselves play golf, they understand how difficult it can be.
Nightmare.
It's so hard. It's so difficult to try and it's already anxiety inducing enough when you've got a group behind you or people behind you who on the course are trying to get through or hitting up behind you. So imagine like doing that with a camera. It's so difficult, and worrying about the camera of golf and the people around you, trying to be entertaining, trying to be informative, like it all snowballs and snowballs. So like, I think anyone who's experienced that is like so much more receptive to going, okay, there's a lot of effort that's been put in here. Let's show some love for it. And there's still some people that I've like yet to properly speak to that I just get messages from and I message, and it's like, what you're doing is so cool. Like Witty Golf, Theo, I can list off names for days, but like these guys are like awesome, and they're like so supportive. You see them in the comment section, you see them in your DMs, and they're the type of people that you've never spoken to before, never saw, or like never really knew before the golf scene, who have come in and gone, okay, yeah, I love what you're doing, and you're helping each other up. And I'd imagine you've got names in there as well, Dave, of people that you can just like list off and be like, yeah, these guys or girls have been so impactful on me carrying on or enjoying the journey.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the it's become much more streamlined now as I've learned like how to do this thing. But it was record on a Monday and be up until 2 a.m. editing it so it's ready for a Tuesday release, because for some reason that's when you have to release podcasts. And like it's not that anymore, which is great, because I've finally learned don't have to just use Zoom and then render it like 5 times on a sort of fairly rubbish PC that I have, but just having those people that were willing to give you the time. I mean, I had like, even to be fair, even the bigger names in the world of golf, like Scott Fawcett, like he didn't know who I was and never heard of me before, but I said, I've watched your stuff for years. It'd be awesome to have a conversation with you. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was like booked in for the next week, and that was a big moment, for me. I was like, wow. And then there's been some amazing people like Matty, the Alt golfer.
He's
like
quality.
Just learning from his story. Like his story is so impactful for so many people. What Matty's had to deal with as well, and the fact now that golf is his happy place, his comfort blanket, and equally so is the content creation side of things as well. That's huge for him, that ability to be creative in that space. So yeah, there's so many names I could list off, and I'll miss out pretty much everyone basically. But like you said, I mean, this is like episode 41 now. Most podcasts don't make it past like 3. I'm winning. It's good.
Yes, I'll give you a little insight. I tried filming a podcast once upon a time. I think me and Connor, we did it together. We filmed 3 or 4 episodes. Didn't get released. They were edited, didn't get released, and we're like, we're not going to be able to keep this up. It's so difficult. So a huge well done, and respect to you.
Cheers, Matt. I mean, if it's any help to you guys, this is probably like the third iteration of podcasts that I've tried throughout the years. And this, to be fair, having this like set up has been a game changer, because it actually gives me a space that's quiet when my kids aren't like running around, or where I'm not working out of my van at lunch break trying to do a podcast over the phone. I mean, that literally happened. Tried to do a football based podcast out of my van. I mean, what was I thinking? But
it's part of the experience. That's part of what you learned from, isn't it?
Oh, totally. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, you can look back and, hopefully this thing continues and works out great. And then you've got all these experiences, like you said, with all, I thought you were harsh on yourself by saying, that it was ultimately, you got so far, but didn't, you failed, didn't make it in certain things, but you tried. And so many people don't ever try. And, if you want to get things done, you have to at least take that first step. So, and I get the feeling with Tehda Golfs, it's just one of those things that's gonna keep on growing as well. And I've noticed you've been doing a little bit of work with others as well, work some brands involved and things. How have you found that? Because I'm sure that's something you're used to from before in the esports scene. How have you found that on a personal basis when it comes to your brand now in the golfing scene?
It's been great working with different brands. From an esports perspective, I was a professional player, a coach. I worked a little bit in kind of social media and marketing. I basically ticked off every job role within esports, right? So I'd seen, I suppose, every single aspect when it came to marketing and working with brands. Like I'd been working directly with the David Beckham team in order to like drive activations. I'd worked with Sky Broadband and Subway to kind of run an esports academy, right? So I'd worked with them, and I'd worked with them in like a ton of different ways within kind of esports and gaming. So when it came to golf, the one thing I told myself was I only want to work with the brands and the people that I truly believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So the likes of Tacoma are a brand that I am so happy to work with, because when I was growing up and I was working and I was getting my pocket money and going to car boot sales and buying golf clubs like that, I was fortunate enough to be able to have golf clubs. And you know, when you look at the cost and the price of golf clubs now, whilst they're brilliant clubs, like, you know, you got your top brands, your big brands, whilst you've got these amazing clubs, they're not always accessible. Like even a beginner set is £300-400, and a 16-17-year-old me wouldn't have that money to spend on a set of golf clubs, never mind then going and spending 20, 30, 40 pound on a golf round. It isn't feasible. So, you know, even though golf clubs are still expensive, and like the idea and the concept of Tacoma's being as good as the other brands but half the price, like it's like fit with me. Like I want to make golf, and my long-term goals are making golf more accessible, like being able to allow like those who can't necessarily afford to play golf to be able to play golf. I'd love to be able to do more of that work in the future. And, you know, by all means, I need to get to a point where I can support myself before I can really drive and support others, because I'm hanging on for dear life. But the kind of like idea of kind of like making it more accessible is just like that aligns with me, and I suppose you could say my brand, but that aligns with me like a lot. Same type of thing when kind of we work with the likes of SRV. Their golf clubs are amazing, and the reason why, again, the reason you had them on the podcast as well, the reason why
John's fantastic. Yeah,
John is unbelievable, and like his story is brilliant, like what he's done it for and the cause, and like that resonates with me, it resonates with Alia, it resonates with like Connor, it resonates with us. So we're not doing it to get our gloves or get our golf clubs and go, all right, yeah, these guys are awesome. We mean it. So that's always something that I'll look at. Like if a brand, and I've had a couple approach before, is like if they don't resonate with me, I'm not going to work with them. So working with brands, especially when they're aligned with me and I see their vision, they see my vision, like that's when I have the most fun. Like being able to like experiment, have loads of fun, and make a funky announcement with announcing Tacoma was like so much fun to make, and like I love that. And it just allows me to experiment and like try new things and force myself to learn, because I love learning. So being able to go, all right, I don't know how to make this shot work, and just going away and doing it and see what happens. Like I love doing that. So working with these brands and having that kind of like expectation as well, like it, I suppose, builds a little bit of pressure. like being an ambassador for Tacoma, for example, like builds up a little bit of pressure, but it's also what keeps pushing you forward. Like,
Yes,
you
yeah,
know, you shouldn't stop because you're in this position already. Like, I'm fortunate enough, one, to be able to, I'm fortunate enough to be in the position where, one, I can play golf. Two, I'm working with a top brand and a brand that, like, I love. Like, I'm lucky enough to be in that position. I don't stop. Like, I
mm,
can't stop. I'd beat myself if I did, beat myself up if I did, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I I love the idea and the concept of working with those brands that I truly believe in, and they truly believe in me as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it comes across as genuine then as well, doesn't it? Because, like you said, Tacoma Irons are doing something which, you know, the cost of golf clubs goes up and up and up every single year. And the main manufacturers kind of know they've got a stranglehold on the market. And then you get a disruptor like Tacoma coming along and providing like serious quality golf clubs that top pros are now happy to put in their hands and use and not notice any changeable difference, but doing it at a price point that, yeah, okay, it's still not, you know, it's not your Don A set that I started with at
Yeah,
Sports Direct. You know, I mean, you pick up £6 a club each time or whatever it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
It's still premium products, but it's premium products at a much more affordable price point. And like you said, if your vision is about accessibility in the game, then given a platform to a brand like Tacoma obviously provides even more competition as we head on into the future of golf. That, you know, by the looks of it, is just going to be a more and more sort of accessible game as it goes along. So yeah, I think that all makes complete sense of wanting that to align with your thing as well. And but it's a tough balance, right? Because
mm,
you know, obviously people will come along and ask certain things, and they can probably, you know, especially when it comes to financial sort of support and stuff like that, it's a decision that has to be sort of made each and every time. But like you said, if it's a thing of making sure that it always aligns with it, then that's going to come across and so much easier to promote as well in that way as well,
mm,
right? I mean, I
yeah.
won't I won't name any sort of names, but I had a tea company come to me and ask me to promote, and it was that it's going to make you drive the ball 30 yards longer. And I thought, well, look, I'm not sure how much authenticity I already had, but that would be completely out of the window if I start telling people that a tee is going to make them drive 30 yards longer.
I can barely drive the ball 30 yards, so that would
Oh,
be a
mate.
miracle. I might have to pick some up.
It was wild. I just thought, oh, if that was the answer, like, sign me up. Maybe I was completely wrong. If that turns out being the answer, I'm gonna be really annoyed with myself. There could have been some
Stack a
hefty
tee on top.
condition.
Yeah, stack 3 tees on top of each other, and you gain 90 yards.
Boom, done. I can get over 200 easy now. No worries. That's gonna be great. Well, Danny, I appreciate your time. I really do, because I know we record late on a Monday night, so I know it's great to see you. But I can't let you go without asking you why Tehda.
So, okay.
Sorry.
No. By all means, I've had this name for, again, obviously it goes back to the gaming days. So
Hmm.
it goes back to when I was probably about 14, 15 years old. And Modern Warfare 2 was like my favorite game. And one of the titles, like, you could get like a banner so that it would display your name in. So you'd have like, uh, my name was like Danny, right? And then it would have like a banner with like some artwork, and like you could have like a little emblem as well, right? So I unlocked one which was called Tada, and it was like Tada. So I was like, that looks awesome. There was a rabbit in a hat. I was like, that looks really, really cool. I got like a little matching emblem, and I was like, I'm gonna change my name. It's gonna be like Tada. So I'd had like a little play on words, and there was like I suppose like a little trend, like back in the day, where it was like, instead of that people would put TEH. So I was like, oh,
Okay.
I'll do instead of Tehda, I'll do Tehda or Tehda. Like so, like that's where I suppose it came from. My Xbox name is still Livid Tehda. Like it's still like a clan that I was in like 10, 15 years ago, and then Tehda, and kind of that's where my name came from. I stuck. It just stuck. All through everything that I ever really did. All of my gaming, everything is Tehda.
So it's
It's
Tehda,
just
so not Tehda.
yeah.
Ignore me, everyone. Ignore me. I've done this before. I've called someone by the wrong name for the whole episode before, so don't. This is a win.
I've had people call me different names for 10 years plus. Like like even some of my friends that I've known for 10 years, they might still call me. I've had all sorts. I've had Tehda. I've had Tehda. Tehda's quite a like Teddy.
Tehda, yeah,
I've had Teddy a lot.
Yeah.
I've had all sorts, but so anything that resembles Tehda or Tehda or Tehda or whatever it is, like I don't really mind. It's the same thing to me nowadays.
Tehda golf. Tehda golf. Okay. Well, if it's any sort of brings you any comfort, I'll tell a little story that I have not told on this podcast before. That most of the people that know me sort of in personal life, my nickname is Dub. D-U-B.
Dub.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I do not want this to catch on, and I'm doing this to try and make up for giving you pronouncing it completely wrong. And it's purely from the fact that my dad was called David as well, and he couldn't pronounce it when he was a kid, and all he could say was the word Dub. So his mum used to call him Dub. It never caught on for him. So he had a full adult name that he deserved. But when I was born and he named me David as well, he decided that it would be funny to tell everyone this story and call me Dub. And
it's stuck.
Honestly, I've got friends that forget my actual name, and when I my wife, when she listens to this, goes, "Oh, Dave,
Dave,
no, she goes, that's your dad's name." And I'm like, come on, I'm 33. I think I deserve Dave or David instead of Dub. Like this has got to change. So
I'd imagine
stick.
I'd imagine you've heard the saying, "Get that dub."
Yes, yeah.
You probably got that quite a bit right.
No, I got worse than that. I got end ups were big when I was at school, and people thought, because I tried to keep it like quiet from everyone at school. I was like, this cannot get out, and I had mates like outside of school that would threaten me that they would like say, "We're going to tell everyone. If we see any of your mates from school, we're going to tell them." I'm like, please don't tell them. And N-dubs was big at the time, and someone got wind of it at school, and that was it. They were like, "Oh, why are you calling yourself after N-dubs?" And I'm like, I was around before them. This is the thing. So nicknames are great, but they're horrible at the same time.
I feel like you've let open a can of worms here.
Potentially. We just hope for some really low traffic on this episode now. That's what we're going to need. I'm going to make this title just it will not be SEO friendly, that's for sure. It will be a boring conversation about golf. With I'm going to put Tehda as well, just to annoy you now.
Tehda, Tehda. Tehda.
It'll be great. No one will hear it, and no one will know about Dub, so it'll be absolutely fine.
Sounds brilliant.
Listen, Danny, I really appreciate it, mate, and I hopefully we can do this again in the future. I know you got some exciting stuff coming up, some Golf Escapes stuff coming up as well. Yeah. Which is going to be cool. I've got some stuff coming with them as well, which is going to be really exciting. And I won't do any more AI features when it comes to that either. So maybe we can link up again in the future and just catch up and see how the journey's going.
That sounds good. Look, I really appreciate being invited on as well, and having the opportunity to have a chat with you as well. It's been absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much, Dub.
No. Oh, there it is. There it is. I shouldn't have said it. I should have just gone, oh, yeah, nicknames are stupid, and moved on.
The first of many.
I'll put in the show notes, Danny, where everyone can find you, and just go and check out Danny's content. It's refreshing and enjoyable, and let's all see where that dart lands next, and hopefully it will be somewhere really difficult to get to, and maybe the minivan's going to break down now. Who knows?
Okay, what?
I'm sorry. You started it. You started it.
I'll take it all back.
Cheers, Danny. I appreciate it, mate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.